rungs of the USF Pro Championships presented by Cooper Tires on the docket at the same time. USF Juniors, USF 2000, and USF Pro 2000 all on the schedule for this 4-day weekend alongside a number of categories here from, of course, USAC and the HRS program. Great to be here at Sebring. It's warming up as we expected. About 83 degrees trackside right now, a high potentially of 89 by the time we go racing this afternoon. But for the first time, after seeing a full day of action for the drivers at USF Juniors, we will see USF Pro 2000, the top rung of this USF Pro Championships program, the series formerly known as the Road to Indy. USF Pro 2000 about set to go here for what will be their qualifying session. They were on track earlier this morning for practice. Now it's the time when it counts. We'll set the grid for race number one of a doubleheader here. Hello, folks. My name is Rob Howden. Great to be here again in Sebring. It's been about 10 years since I've had an opportunity to call action out of this particular PA booth back in the days of running this USF 2000 program alongside the 12 Hours of Sebring. Great to be here. Tracks has shown great action thus far. The USF Juniors really putting their talent and racecraft on display with a couple of green to checker events. Great to have you joining us here, folks, whether you're on the USF Pro Championships app, on the YouTube channel, or potentially on USFPro2000.com. We say hello to all of those of you around the country and around the world because we have ourselves a very diverse field here in this program this year, which is super exciting. Great drivers as part of the program here in the USF Pro 2000 category. 19 drivers set to go in there is your reigning USF 2000 champion, Michael Orlando, rolling out in the USF Pro Championship scholarship colors. There's the 55 of Liam Zendelli, for TJ Speed. Drivers from Ireland, Mexico, Germany, Brazil, Sweden, Italy, all on the program this year, lining up against racers from the United States. Many of them, of course, Michael Orlando, Bajoy Garg, Reese Ushijima, Jordan Missig, Jace Denmark, Christian Weir, Jackson Lee. We've got Yuvan Sooner Murthy as well, Lindsey Brewer, Miles Rowe, Jack Miller. So again, qualifying for the drivers to roll out here. This will be key. The one thing about this particular racetrack, and we'll see how it all plays out, which could be quite interesting. This particular session, a 25-minute qualifying session. Now, it's a longer window, but 25 minutes. Will we see tire changes? That, I think, will be the key thing here. Will we have drivers going to new tires midway through the session? Drivers coming through turn number 16, crucial part of this racetrack. You roll the corner in turn 16, you get that big run down the back straightaway. Here's that shot we have now of turn number 17. Big run down the Almond Straight into Sunset Bend. The big, wide sweeping, incredibly bumpy right-hander leads onto the front straightaway. That's Jace Denmark and the Pabst Racing Machine. Pabst has most definitely stepped up their game here coming into 2023. Didn't really challenge for race wins last year, but man, they have come out of the gate super strong to start the season. Going through turn number 1. We'll give you a good shot around the cameras that we have available. Here's a shot coming back into turn number 3. A little kink, turn 2. Back into turn number 3. The left-hander, crucial part of the racetrack. Little cut back right there, turn 4. Then a big sweeping left-hand turn number 5. This is a crucial corner as well. This is where you get this power down to sweep under the bridge and through turn number 6. The essentially flat-out right-hand sweeper down into turn number 7. Of course, a tough corner there, as we know, right by the 7 Hotel. Working to get a camera up in turn number 7 as well. From there, they kind of twist their way over to turn number 10. We have a camera in turn number 10, right at the exit of turn number 10, coming through there. And then again, from turn number 10, bit of a sweep to the left, then to 13, which is a right-hander. Then from there, it's kind of a run all the way through, a very quick run from 13 through 14, 15 over to 16, with just a little bit of sweeping back and forth. 16, of course, very crucial, as we know. You get through 16 quickly, that's going to give you the run down to 17, which is a passing opportunity. But, of course, being able to transition through the bumps of turn number 17, the pass potentially down here into turn number 1, very crucial. So, again, just getting things underway. And the key, again, one of the longer racetracks we'll see this year. In fact, the second longest racetrack that we will run here this year. The longest, of course, being Road America at 4 miles. Other tracks over the 3-mile mark, the Circuit of the Americas being one, of course. This one is a long one, though. 17 corners in total, which obviously makes it so tough. Other tracks that are significantly long as well included into this one. I mentioned the Circuit of the Americas, as I had said. But you go back to VIR for the drivers in USF Juniors. These drivers here will not be at VIR. It's a USF Junior category. So the Circuit of the Americas at 3.426 miles. A little shorter than the 3.74 miles we have here. So the long lap of what we expect to be just under 2 minutes. You know, we may see a 1:58 with the rubber down that we have now from the Sebring 12-hour from last week. Most of the drivers we've talked to said the grip significantly higher than it was, especially coming through turn number 1. Here's Michael D'Orlando rolling through all that rubber down. Of course, the rubber on the rumble strips as well from the 12-hour. Talked to some of the drivers as well about the fact that the ruts on the outside of the corners, because of all the drivers going off in that endurance event, are more pronounced as well. So if you drop a wheel coming off a corner on the other side of the exit curbing, it could be even more penalizing. Got to be smart and keep the car within the lines. Fastest out lap, 2-minute flat, 0.216 for Francesco Pizzi. Pizzi for TJ Speed at a pole position at St. Petersburg. Pizzi, the Italian from Rome. Pizzi comes in sitting P4 in the points. One driver in the top 5 not with us here this weekend is Christian Brooks. Christian, who ran for Turn 3 Motorsports, the driver to California, who won the opening round at St. Petersburg, finished 6th in round number 2, comes in P3 in points, but not here this weekend, not able to come up with the budget to be able to run this weekend. So this driver here, the Force Indy Pabst Racing number 99, leads the way. Miles Rowe, 3rd in the opening race, won race number 2. Brings a 3-point lead over Kiko Porto into this race weekend. Porto, of course, a couple of second-place finishes at St. Petersburg. Very consistent for the young Brazilian, a former USF 2000 champion in his own right. Miles Rowe, who has such a great story over the last couple of years, launching with the single-car Force Indy effort, which, of course, was funded and developed and motivated by Roger Penske and his program. Drive for Equality and Change. Miles was a single-car driver in USF 2000, and the team was learning, and he was learning, and a huge victory for him in the wet weather race at New Jersey. Got that win. Wasn't able to get to race in 2023. Just wasn't going to happen. But then the budget enough came together to start with Pabst Racing, and then Roger Penske stepped in after some very good results early. We ended up challenging for the championship to the very end. Came up just short after what was a hectic and wild finale in Portland on Labor Day. Was in the championship battle, though, with Jace Denmark and Michael D'Orlando. D'Orlando, the driver, of course, emerging from the fire as the champion. But Rowe finds himself back here with Pabst Racing again and Force Indy with the budget to run this year in this particular program. And, again, we've watched him grow up over the last couple of years. Serious focus for that young driver. Jace Denmark now goes to P1. Denmark in the number 20 out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Winner last year, of course, as we know, in USF 2000. Battle for the championship. 5th place in points coming in. $16 points behind his teammate Miles Rowe. Interesting lines there. Much wider line there for Rowe. There's Zendelli as well. Francesco Pizzi. It's Pizzi, Zendelli, and Christian Weir for TJ Speed, their first year part of the program. Driver into pit lane. Jordan Missig went P3, and he's come to pit lane. So has Rowe. So I believe we may see a tire change here for the Pabst drivers. 159.205 for Denmark. Pabst 1, 2, 3. Incoming exclusive cars as well, the 91 and the 92. Salvador de Alba and Joel Grandforce. De Alba from Mexico. Two-time winner last year. Grand Force out of Sweden. Runner-up in last year's GB3 championship. A couple of fantastic international drivers with highly developed skill sets. Who else we got in pit lane? Here comes the number 6 for Jay Howard Driver Development, Reese Ushijima. He was P3 in the morning warm-up. So a number of drivers coming in. Fresh rubber going on. We didn't see anybody change tires during qualifying for USF Juniors, but the difference is they had 2 sets of tires for qualifying and essentially 3 races. So no one rolling the dice on that. You can do that here with the drivers in Pro 2000 with more sets of tires on offer for the weekend. Here comes Jordan Missig back out. The driver at speed coming behind us, Nick Monteiro for the new Neotech program. And of course, Missig doing a great job staying to the outside. Good job for Jordan to make sure he doesn't impede drivers at speed. That's one thing these drivers have to consider. When they get the fresh rubber out, they're obviously coming out, the tires aren't up to temperature. The car's going to be a little sketchy, but they have to watch out that they don't impede another driver who's coming at speed. That will result in a penalty. One cool thing about the weekend here, 1 practice, 2 qualifying sessions, however. So instead of USF Juniors, as we said, some of the time, oftentimes we'll have 1 qualifying session, as we did at St. Petersburg, where your fast lap is race 1, your second fastest lap is race 2. They'll have separate qualifying sessions. USF Juniors wraps up today. They'll have their 3rd and final race at the end of the day today. USF Pro 2000 running on Friday and Saturday. USF 2000 on Saturday and Sunday. And those of you asking kind of why the schedule is set up like that, there are several teams that run both USF Juniors and USF 2000 operations using the same staff, the same crew. So they'll work on the juniors cars on Thursday and Friday, and then they'll transition over to USF 2000 on Saturday and Sunday. Chase Denmark still on top of the 159.208. As I had said, will we get into the 158s? We'll see. Michael D'Orlando's gone to second, 159.246. Here comes the 4 as well in pit lane of Ricardo Escoto. Out of Mexico City, Mexico for Jay Howard Driver Development. Escoto into pit lane. Number of drivers have come into the pit. There's 4 or 5 in there right now. Here's the rundown out of 16. Holman straight into turn number 17. I think Monteiro's going to get off the throttle. Look for him to come into pit lane here in the Neotech machine. Single caller effort. Team out of Brazil. Monteiro living here in Miami, Florida, but calls Sao Paulo, Brazil his hometown. There's Missig rolling into the corner. Here comes one of the D-Force drivers. Joy Gard and Kiko Porto in the D-Force colors here this year. Denmark, I believe, rolling through the corner there. Denmark on top still, 159.205. It's Denmark, D'Orlando, Rowe, Pizzi, and Jordan Missig, the fast 5. Liram Zindelli, 6th. Salvador de Alba, 7th. Joel Grandforce, 8th. Reese Ushijima in 9th, and Kiko Porto, 10th. Remember, Porto, 2nd place in points coming in. A couple of runner-up finishes on the streets of St. Petersburg. For those of you looking to tune into race number 1 of USF Pro 2000, that'll happen later on today. Green flag set to go at about 4 o'clock. I think we're looking right around a 3:45 start for the broadcast. Jay Howard cars rolling through 3, 4, and 5. Best Jay Howard car right now looks to be Reese Ushijima in the number 6 at P9, but of course they've just come in to put fresh rubber on. Fresh rubber, maybe a minor change to the car if they feel there's something they could just change a little bit, whether it's wing angle, whatever it may be. We've had a chance to go out on fresh tires. What's it feel like? What do we do? Of course, all drivers in the practice running a carryover set of tires from spring training we ran here on the Monday and Tuesday before the Grand Prix of St. Petersburg. Had all 3 of our series here for spring training. Missing rolling back in again. Here comes Michael D'Orlando to the left of the screen, coming back out of pit lane. So D'Orlando's pit. Here comes that blue front of Miles Rowe. Jace Denmark right behind him as well. So the Pabst cars are back out while everybody else is kind of in pit lane. Rowe has gone to P1. That's our first driver into the 58s. 158.929 for Miles Rowe. Pabst Racing currently with a provisional lockout of the front row. Rowe and Denmark. D'Orlando third, Pizzi fourth, Missig fifth, Zendelli sixth, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, De Alba, Graham Force, Ushijima, and Porto. Bajoy Garg sitting in 11th, Jackson Lee in 12th, Jack William Miller 13th, Yuvan Sundaramurli in 14th spot, Christian Weir in 15th, Jonathan Brown 16th, Nicholas Monteiro 17th, Ricardo Escoto in 18th, and Lindsey Brewer in 19th. 19 cars on the grid. 20 at St. Pete, but as I said before, we do not have Christian Brooks. We'll see if Christian's able to get something back together to potentially return in May. Month of May, of course, we'll see us run the road course at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and then the Carb Night Classic at Indianapolis Raceway Park Friday before the 500. Always a fun race there on the 5/8 mile oval. First opportunity for the drivers here, this USF Pro Championships, to sample the oval, and that's what we do here. Train these drivers for IndyCar. Many have gone on to IMSA professional careers as well. Long run down the straightaway into turn number 17. Everybody getting a feel for what line works for them in 17. Rowe on top of the 158.929. Denmark, Missig. So it's a Pabst Racing 1, 2, 3. Have they found some speed to start this season? Wow. Last year, you would have seen the drivers in Pabst, probably anywhere from 5th to 10th. They really weren't one of the teams challenging up front for race wins last year, but Augie Pabst and his crew, Tonis Kasemets, everybody at the team Pabst Racing have dug in deep, and they have continued to work hard and found some speed. The TJ Speed cars rolling in here. That's the 55 of Zendelli. Oh, that's actually that's for Francesco Pizzi, pardon me. Pizzi in the 55. Zendelli running the number 10. There's the number 92 machine. That's Joel Granforth in the Corpay colors, the magnetic raspberry color for Corpay, the corporate sponsor for Exclusive Autosport. And Granforth has gone to P3. Joel Granforth up into third. 158.824. Granforth up into third spot. Pizzi in fifth. Missig sixth. D'Orlando in seventh. No, makes that D'Orlando in sixth, indeed. Yeah, Zendelli in seventh, De Alba in eighth, Ushijima in ninth, and Kiko Porto rounding out the top 10. Just over a second separating the top 10 now as Kiko Porto goes to ninth, Ushijima back into 10th, just over a second. First back to 10th. Majority of the field within 2 seconds. D'Orlando trying to roll some speed through turn 16. Back on the throttle and down the straightaway. Just under 3 minutes remaining in this qualifying session. Right now it's Jordan Missig, provisional pole. Missig goes to P1. The Illinois driver to the top of the charts. Missig. This is the number 20 of Jace Denmark now. He goes to P1. Right on cue with the camera shot through 17. Jordan Missig held it for a second, but Jace Denmark now goes 158.407. Remember, fuel burning off. Tires coming up into the optimum temperature. The pressures are there. There's Missig through turn number 5. He's got a hot rod. The Racing for Mental Health machine. Denmark. Francesco Pizzi for TJ Speed's gone second. Just over a 10th between first and second. Missig third. Rowe fourth. D'Orlando fifth. Granforth sixth. Zendelli seventh. De Alba, Porto, Ushijima. Who's going to time it right? Time winding down, minute and 47 seconds. Looks like everybody's going to get this lap and maybe another one. Denmark on top of the 158.405. Man, I said 58s. Are we going to see a 57? I don't know. Might be asking a little much. But a 58.4 for Denmark, 58.5 for Pizzi, Missig, and Rowe. and D'Orlando. Less than 2/10, just over a 1/10.5 separating the fast five. Denmark, Pizzi, Missig, Rowe, and D'Orlando. Pabst, TJ Speed, Pabst, turn 3. Minute to go. There's Denmark out of 16. Can he improve on a 158.405? The timing stripe, remember, on the back part of the racetrack, so I believe he'll get an opportunity to get another lap in. Denmark the quickest on the racetrack. Missig does not go faster. Backs it down to a 158.9. We did have a driver come down pit lane. I think that might have been Lindsey Brewer. Denmark does not go faster. He goes 159.5, just about a 10th off. Nobody in the top 5 going any quicker. So it's Denmark, Pizzi, Missig, Rowe, and D'Orlando. Grand 4th and 6th. Ushijima, though, goes up to 7th. And Porto goes to 8th. So Ushijima in the J. Howard machine goes to P7. In the number 6, Porto up to 8th. Liram Zendelli back to 9th. And De Alba 10th. That is Jace Denmark hustling around that IP22. Again, the same carbon monocoque tub for all 3 levels of this USF Pro Championships. There's the 91. Coming through the corner, that's Salvador De Alba. He's still at speed. There's Zendelli in the number 10. He currently sits in 7th. He moves up to 7th spot. Zendelli up a spot. He's right behind Nick Monteiro, though, I believe. And Monteiro back at 18th. That may cause him to check up. Number of drivers in the 47, the 92, and the 91. So Grand 4th, Lee and De Alba all into pit lane. They're done. There's D'Orlando still out there. Denmark still at the top time, but D'Orlando still out there, as is Zendelli. So is Jordan Missig there, coming through 15. That's 14, 15, and over to 16 here. Jace Denmark on the provisional pole. 158.408. That would be big. That's a bonus point that'll get him back where he needs to be. Remember, Denmark trying to claw back on his teammate Miles Rowe. Point leader coming in. More drivers to pit lane. There's the 12 of Porto. The 32 of Weir, Christian Weir, currently 14th. Everybody coming down the stripe checker flag. You can see it to the left side of the screen. Rowe goes faster, but not enough. 72 thousandths of a second back. It's still Jace Denmark. Rowe goes to second for a Pabst 1-2. I think that may be it. No, well, at least one more driver coming through turn 15. So we'll get one more driver coming down the long Ullman Straight. Still one more driver on the track, I believe. No, a couple more. Here comes another one through as well, but he doesn't look like he's at full speed. Waiting for the remainder of the drivers to get themselves down on pit lane. Provisional pole right now is Jace Denmark. Miles Rowe, Francesco Pizzi, Jordan Missig, and Michael D'Orlando, the top 5 right now, waiting for the final drivers to come across the line. I think that's going to be it. Jace Denmark for Pabst Racing in the number 20, the pole sitter for race number 1 of USF Pro 2000 here at the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Sebring. 72 thousandths of a second between first and second. It's an all Pabst front row. Jace Denmark P1, Miles Rowe in second. Francesco Pizzi, the Italian for TJ Speed, P3. He'll join me in the booth tomorrow for one of the calls of a USF 2000 race. Pizzi in the 3rd spot. Jordan Missig, who I've already had in the booth here this weekend. Jordan in 4th. Row 3, we'll see Michael D'Orlando alongside Joel Grandforce. Row number 5, Liram Zendelli and Risu Shijima. That's row 4, rather. Row 5 will be Kiko Porto and Salvador de Alba. Row 6, Jonathan Brown and Yuvan Sooner Amurthy. On row 7, Bajoy Garg and Christian Weir. Row 8, Ricardo Escoto and Jack Miller. Row 9, Jackson Lee and Nicholas Monteiro. And on row 10 will be Lindsey Brewer. Top 9 drivers separated by just over 6 tenths of a second. Wow. And then a half a second back to De Alba in 10th spot. Wasn't able to get the lap he needed at the very end. But that was a wild one. What a fantastic battle that was for sure for the top time. We saw guys going back and forth. Very impressive. And again, a lot of fun to watch as well. So, folks, that wraps things up for qualifying for USF Pro 2000. Join us back here on the USF Pro Championships channels at about 3:45 as we get set to go for what will be a 15-lap race, the first of two for USF Pro 2000. Right after that, we'll move right into the USF Juniors. We'll cap off their triple header here at the Cooper Tires Grand Prix of Sebring. Otherwise, more racing to come. It's only Friday. We've got racing this afternoon, all day on Saturday and on Sunday as well. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate it. Lots more racing to come here from Sebring, Florida. On behalf of everyone from the USF Pro Championships and Anderson Promotions, my name's Rob Howden. Bye for now.
Yeah.